will be doing an educational presentation titled Ag Literacy. Lauren was selected to represent that county at the Iowa State Fair.
What comes to your mind when I say agriculture? For some people, it's the cow, the plow, and the sow. A lot of America's population think they know where their food comes from. But do they really? Hi, I'm Lauren Huska, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the importance of agricultural literacy. I'm going to talk about the 3 major points that need to be addressed while trying to ensure agricultural literacy, whether it's in your community, your classroom, or a random person who might not know the truth about agriculture. The 3 points include the history of agriculture, the impacts of the industry on our daily life, and the current issues affecting today's agriculture. Let's start off with the official definition of agricultural literacy. The National Academy of Sciences defines agricultural literacy as possessing the knowledge and understanding of the food system, including its current history, economic, social, and environmental significance to all Americans. Now that's a big definition, but what exactly does that mean for the everyday average citizen? Let's back up a little and find out. In the 1800s, 90% of our population was employed directly by production agriculture. This number dropped below 80% in the early 1900s and then to 60% in the 1950s. Currently, only 2 to 3% of the United States workforce is directly employed by production agriculture. This decline has to do with the fact that our country has branched off into other industries. But that leaves about 90% of the population having nothing to do with agriculture in their daily lives. Yes, an agriculturist or a forager would argue that anything from the toothpaste they use to the car they drive, and even your fancy new jeans, are related to agriculture. But does the average urban citizen know that? Better question yet, do they even care? First, I'll start off with what every person should know to gain a full understanding of agriculture: its history. Many students, not to mention adults, tend to think of agriculture as the dirty, smelling production methods of the 1800s. So that's where I'll begin. Agriculture is the oldest of all sciences. It provides us with food, clothing, and shelter, which without, we would not survive. Throughout time, farmers have been raising crops and animals to feed their family, with the hope that there would be some left over to sell for profit. In the 1800s, an average farmer could feed maybe 5 people a day, which was most likely their family. Then, in the late 1800s, the United States pursued its potential to free people from farm labor and enable them to buy the products instead of producing them. Major advancements that made this possible include the steel plow in 1837 and the first use of chemical fertilizer in 1849. The Morrill Act of 1862 allowed for land-grant colleges to ensure further agricultural education. The use of tractors and refrigeration in the 1870s improved food production, along with hybridized corn in 1881. Then, in the 1900s, all these inventions were modified and improved. By 1925, we could produce twice as much product with half the amount of resources in half the time. In the 1960s, the introduction of the computer enabled easy record keeping, and in the 1980s, artificial insemination and embryo transfer aided in animal reproduction. All of these inventions and more have led us to where we are today. We have a sturdy agricultural industry and a high standard of living, which brings me to my next point. For us to keep our strong agricultural industry, Americans need to understand the economic, social, health, and environmental impacts of agriculture. Economically, the United States is strong in agricultural knowledge, and this has boosted our economy and helped us to maintain our status as a major trading country in the global market. The U.S. is high on the list of world trade countries, along with India, Brazil, and China. To stay powerful among these countries takes great agricultural effort. It is important for citizens, as you, to realize these benefits so they will be able to participate in establishing the policies that will support a strong agricultural industry in this country and abroad. Socially, agriculture has allowed for people to lead lives that have nothing to do with agriculture, such as living or having jobs in the city. When producing your own food is not the only priority, other things can filter into a person's life. Places such as the mall, restaurants, and movie theaters would not be around if we did not have a strong agricultural background. Environmentally, agriculture is going green, just like the rest of the world. As I speak, research is being done to find new, safe, and environmentally friendly ways to aid production phases. The co-products from livestock and crops that cannot be used for food are turned into everyday items that people take for granted. Many buildings use recycled material, and animal waste is used as valuable fertilizer. The industry truly practices a phrase, waste not, want not. From the health aspect, much-needed nutrition comes from agriculture. While it is said that agriculture is the culprit for obesity, disease, and other health problems, the truth is quite the opposite. Increased knowledge of agriculture and nutrition allows for individuals to make informed personal choices about diet and health. With the right choices, such as where food is purchased, how it is prepared, and how much of it is consumed, it is easy to live a healthy lifestyle. Not to mention the fact that agricultural research is the basis for medicine and medical procedures. Lives are saved every day by the medical advancements brought about by progressive agriculture. My third and last point in ensuring strong agricultural literacy is to make sure everyone understands the current issues in today's agricultural industries. Recently, this has become harder and harder to accomplish, as so many people are against current agricultural practices. Day in and day out, agriculturists are bashed and berated in books such as Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer and Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan, and even in the new movie Food Inc. With all the negative media out there talking about the evils of agriculture, people are getting the wrong idea about farming and the way that their food arrives on their table. The worst possible message of carelessness and cruelty is portrayed. Yet there was almost no input from the agricultural side of the story. The key to our problem is communication. Because in all actuality, the agricultural industry is not cruel or careless or harmful to the environment when operated correctly. The advancements that many fear, such as cloning, biofarming, and hybridization, only aid our nation in supplying a healthy and abundant food supply. And even though that 2 to 3% of our population employed in production agriculture may seem tiny, agriculture as a whole does employ about 1 out of every 6 Americans, with career opportunities ranging across the board, from farm production to agricultural research, engineering, food science processing, education, landscape, and many more. Agriculture is the key to our country's past, present, and future success. I hope I've been able to stress to you the importance of agricultural literacy in our society. As passionate agriculturists, it is our job to make smart decisions, ones that are the best for the most people. Everything that we do and anything that we say will determine the future of agriculture in our country and eventually our entire world. I challenge each and every one of you to do something positive for agriculture. Thank a farmer, take an ag class, support your local farmers, and just spread the good word about agriculture. Each one of you has the ability to be an advocate for agriculture. My sources for this include advocatesforagriculture.com and their blogspot, ISU Extension, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and my inspiration came from Omnivore's Delusion by Blake Hurst. Thank you.